Welcome to DTU Studio and this podcast series by Delhi Technological University. Today we have with us Mr. Sanjay Sehgal, a distinguished alumnus of this university. Mr. Sanjay Sehgal is a compulsive entrepreneur, global businessman, Forbes Business Council member, startup expert, venture and angel investor, winner of Titan Business IT Entrepreneur of the Year 2021, winner of Idea Digital Enabler Award 2020, Red Herring Asia 100 2019, Most Innovative Digital Transformation CEO in 2019, Top Entrepreneur Award at TIE Atlanta 2018, and a philanthropist. Mr. Sanjay Sehgal earned his bachelor's degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Delhi College of Engineering in 1988. Currently, he is the chairman and CEO of MSys Group, a company with global prominence and bases in USA, India, and Vietnam. Mr. Sehgal was featured in the Atlanta magazine's 500 Atlanta's Most Powerful Leaders in 2021. He was also interviewed by Business Magazine's Smart CEO. His upbeat, creative approach to business and life has been featured in several newspapers and magazines. Mr. Sehgal also indulges in his avid passion for philanthropy through Heartfulness, which is an organization focusing on meditation and spirituality. He manages global digital initiatives and practices at Heartfulness, and also has been teaching meditation for about 2 decades now. Mr. Sehgal is recognized as a global leader in high-performance training with a passion to inspire others to stand out in how they work and live. His upbeat approach, business experience, and leadership skills have been appreciated by hosts like Ryan Smith and others. Welcome, sir, to this DTU podcast. We are very happy to have you here with us. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of it.
Thanks for having me. I'm very delighted that I'm able to be part of my college again, college life again, if I may say so. That was a very special time in my life, and through all this, I get to recreate those in my mind and in my life again.
Good. Thank you. All right, sir. You started at DCE in 1984, right? And you passed out in 88. Just share some moments from your college days. How was that like?
College days are always very special because the transition from school life to college life is often very drastic.
Yes.
School life is you're constrained by the rules and by what you can do, what you cannot do. College life does, provide you certain freedom. And of course, some people can misuse that freedom too. Now, in engineering college, where you are surrounded by the la cream, of the society or of the academic field from school. there are DC was, I would say, many of us were also admitted into IIT, but we chose to go to DC for various reasons. Like in my case, I got into IIT outside of Delhi, but I wanted to stay in Delhi, so I went to DC. So people were surrounded by the brightest of the minds, and that's a time I think I felt I learned many new things which I wouldn't have learned otherwise. Now we did a lot of masti too. And those days, I think, you also have people who come from different strata of society. You're in school, typically there are kind of people who are your neighborhood children, they go there, but in college there are people from all over the country.
Yes.
So it provides you kind of wider perspective. There are different languages you are exposed to, different foods you are exposed to. And at times, of course, you pick up few habits which later on you may not appreciate as much, but that's okay. That's part of experimentation that one does in that newfound freedom. So I really enjoyed that life, and I really enjoyed. I think I still am in touch with many of those folks. So I wish I can spend more time with them than I am currently, doing. But I think I still remember those days very, very fondly. I think I remember all the whole Kashmiri Gate and the Rinkies cheese dosa, and that Gyani ji, the kulfi and all those lassis.
Wow.
And, I mean, all those nice foods that were, that we were food shops that we were surrounded by, and then there was cinema hall that we used to all bunk some classes sometimes to watch first day, first show movies. And I think the other fond memory, those days we used to not like it, but now I think that was what made us what we are today, was we used to have the regular test every Monday and Friday, first period. I don't know how it is now, but it was a semester system. So every Monday morning and every Thursday morning, the first hour used to be the test.
For which subject?
Midterms. Midterms used to start like 1 month into the semester. The midterms will start.
So one subject on Monday, another on Thursday, the next subject on next Monday.
So I think there were perhaps 5 subjects we had, or 6. So like that, I think in 3 weeks you'll go in this, and then you will start again. It used to keep us on our toes. I must say, it used to keep us on our toes, because you are preparing. I mean, it's weekends, like you are really under pressure.
Weekends will go for the Monday preparation. Your Tuesday, Wednesday will go for the Thursday preparation.
So I think the time we used to really enjoy was Thursday evening and Friday evening.
Right.
The first day, first show, as I said,
First day, first show. True.
Friday, I think we would have watched many movies, because I think we were like, okay, now anyway we're going to be busy preparing, so let's go and watch a movie. So I think we had fun, and of course a lot of hard work that we all did.
So sir, how did you decide your next course of action? Like, you started working immediately after passing out. Like, students have various options. They can opt for MS, MTech, MBA, or may go in for job. So how was it like for you?
See, in my family, I was the first guy who went to an engineering college. Those days, I think it was from a lower middle class family. Didn't have too many means. That's why I chose to be in Delhi rather than going outside Delhi. And so I think I didn't think about doing postdoc or master's program. I didn't. That was not an option that I considered. I wanted to take up a job so that I could be a good support for the family, and of course learn more or apply those things that I had learned in the college. Fortunately for me, and DTU was a great place, or DCE those days was a great place. I had 3 job offers
from the campus itself?
From the campus itself. And I think I remember I had a job offer from Wipro and I think one other company. Then towards the end of my semester, I got a very good offer from DCM Data Products, which was a Delhi-based company, and that job was in R&D. All others were in more like field application engineering or some kind of software application type thing, but this one was in hardware design. So for some reason I did have that inclination to get into design. So I, of course, and it was helped by the fact that was the highest salary that those days. It was 3,000 rupees, which was, I think, the highest of all the 3 offers that I had. So the decision was fairly simple. It was almost 6 or 8 kilometers from my home. So I just took up that job at DCM Data Products, and I didn't regret. I was part of some very good design teams that we did some cutting edge designs in those days, and through that only I was sent to US. So 88 I graduated, and by January 1990 DCM Data Products, I had worked on some designs there, and as part of the design team, some companies in US licensed our design because it was one of its kind. So a design team members went to US or sent to US one by one, and my turn also came. I was able to get the visa, and I landed in US by January 1990. Long time ago. You may not have been born even then. Who knows, right? But I think it was a good. That was, I think, early days of, you can say, computerization in India, and US also as a market was still new to the whole computer revolution. Though they were quite, certain things were quite advanced there. So we ended up, me and my boss those days, I think I still remember his name, Mr. A.N. Pandit from DCM Data Products. We both ended up in San Jose. So life, I think, has its own plans, as they say. Best of the plans get overtaken by what destiny has for you at times. Right?
Totally agree.
And meaning it was a company's licensed our design. They wanted us to productize the design. So I was kind of being a junior engineer in those days, and I was kind of tasked to help one or two companies, and I did. And then I think during that first 3 or 4 months time period, another company in Atlanta, it was a company called American Megatrends, they decided to also license the design, or they decided to take help from DCM in doing similar design.
All right.
So I don't know the business part of it, I was not privy to that, but I was told that now you have to go to Atlanta from San Jose.
All right.
And my boss was, I think, he stayed back, and I was the only one who was sent to Atlanta. And so I was told it's a 6-month assignment, so apply for extension of your business visa or training visa. So I did. So I went to Atlanta. So we did some new designs there, and they seemed to have liked me, and they offered me to join them, much to the, I would say, dislike of my previous India employer. DCM. But I think they figured out some way of hiring me in the contract, and they hired me, and they did my H1.
All right.
And H1B those days was not as hard as it is now. Right now it is big in the big news. True. And those days there were people used to go there, some software guys used to go there on H1 or B1 to US, but very few guys in hardware design.
Okay.
And so I was one of the few ones, and they did my H1, I got my H1 within few months, and then I think the new chapter with American Megatrends started. I worked in that company for a few years, and then during that my stay there, they were doing a new business unit in data storage. So I had an opportunity to work in that new business unit, and there we did some really good designs. And through that, working in the designs, I developed some good inkling for marketing and sales.
Okay.
So the product was very, very technical, highly technical. It was in data storage, again, one of its kind. RAID, there's something term, now it is quite commonly understood or known, called redundant array of independent disks. It was a very new concept. The papers of that had come from Berkeley and CMU. Professors had come, written some papers on that. So we took those papers and did some design. So I was part of the design team. So our regular sales team was not able to sell it because it was highly technical. So I thought, okay, I will do it. And so my president or CEO of my company, he said, okay, I became product manager, and then product marketing manager, and then director of sales. And I realized that I had that some hidden knack for sales, or it's really not sales, it was more like business development, and convincing people to be able to the technical depth of our product. I was able to do that a lot better than a regular sales guy. And the company was, before I moved to sales, the company was 30 million in revenue. I moved to sales. Within the first year, we did 100 million.
Wow, that's amazing.
Amazing.
That's
and within
amazing.
3 years, just that business unit alone, was from zero, that business unit went up to 200 million. So overall company was 250 or some little around that. And we had great success. Huge teams all over the world. I was the world flyer. I used to kind of go all over the world because I had teams.
So that was all in 90s?
It was all in 90s. I think it was end of 99 or 2000.
Okay.
That's when we decided, I think, or the president decided, CEO of the company decided to sell the company. We were looking at many options of IPO, but he felt selling was better. So I think 2001 when he sold the company to LSI Logic. That was a public company those days. So I think he sold it for $250 million or so. So having had the first exit, and I think we all did very well in that. And but I didn't want to be part of that kind of sale, to go to a big company where I will be a small guy, reporting to somebody. And so me and I think my colleague there, VP of engineering, we both decided to leave. And we did our first startup.
Yes.
So I think we started the company, I think, beginning of 2001. And of course, the market was already going down with the .com bust. 2000 in case some people may know, Y2K and 2000, the .com bust was happening. But we were on a high. We were, we had done great. with one company, with one product, so we want to do it again ourselves. So we just we had a team, we had raised some money, and then I think we raised our first big round of $11 million of funding on 31st of August 2001. 11 days before 9/11, fortunately for us. And the money was in the bank. And I know on 11th of September I was driving to the office and I heard this news. And of course the whole country was in gloom and people didn't know how to react. I mean, such events can transform nations, and it did. It did create a lot of gloom first, and later on, of course, like my quote said, when the bad things happen, the humanity has a way to rise up again, and then people, of course, found their way to success back up again. But those were tough times, and we went into some kind of cryogenic freeze with our startup, slowed down things, but in that slowdown period itself, we raised some more money from some partners, and we did manage to build the first product, and I think it
so those must be very stressful times, I assume. You have funds from the investors, it's there in the bank, and things are 9/11 happened. So I'm assuming it must be very stressful.
It was
so everybody goes through even our students go through a stressful phase. So how did you come out kind of low phase?
See, like I shared with you earlier, Evelyn, that fortunately for me, as soon as I moved to US in 90s, that was, right? I went to Atlanta within 3 months, and I was just not even 24 at that time, years old, just a year and a half out of college. Fortunately for me, I found heartfulness meditation in Atlanta.
Oh, so you found it in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Okay.
I often joke about this, that often people think that such things are people do only in India. But I say, just like wisdom has no geographic boundaries, stupidity has no boundaries either. It's kind of goes both ways. So, I mean, you can be a sinner in India and a saint in America. I mean,
yeah, of course,
right?
Of
so
course.
I think I found a person in my office who used to meditate.
Okay.
He was, of course, from India. I mean,
Okay.
he was our CFO in AMI, and so I used to see that this person is different. He had certain calmness about him, and so every time I would talk to him, I would feel very good. And I used to ask him, "How are you different from everybody else?" So one day he wouldn't just advertise that I meditate and all. He said, "Perhaps I meditate, maybe because of that." I said, "I like to learn this," because I was, stresses are there all the time.
Yes.
When are they not there in our lives?
Always.
Stresses are more from how, like I always say that, it's not, you can never manage the situation. They say management gurus or manage your life. No, you cannot manage things outside. Okay? The only thing you can manage is manage yourself through various things.
Absolutely.
You just manage yourself, and that I learned much later, meaning, things are happening. Even at that time, visa gets delayed. My H1 transition from business to H1 visa got delayed, and you are devastated. Salary gets delayed, you are devastated, and you don't know, things are not in your control, right?
Yeah.
So I found meditation was a good anchor for me, and it was one of those things that I normally I don't think I would have been able to stay on with it myself. I think the support system that heartfulness provided in terms of trainers, in terms of group meditations, they were very helpful to me. When I told my parents back home in India that I'm doing this, they said, one of the fads, when you're young, you do various things. So they thought, okay, 2-3 mahine karega, chhod dega. But I stuck to it because I was finding benefit out of it. Many other things that I had done before that, they were more like to satisfy my ego or satisfy what I thought would be good. But this one was not for any satisfaction. This was for transformation. I realized that later, that this is actually transforming me. I am able to manage myself through various things that are happening around me in life. So coming back to 2001, I had 2 co-founders. You won't believe it, one of them, through that situation of 9/11, funding, investor pressure and all, one of them even had a heart attack.
Oh.
And he used to look at me, he said, yeah, you are also like me. I mean, you are also going through all this, you are fine, you every day you come, you smiling. I said, yeah, I don't know, maybe because meditation is helping me. So meditation, something like this, I would always urge people. We do need ways to manage ourselves. Like you need ways to build yourself, build your body, be able to sustain yourself, food. You do need something that can help you manage yourself. And meditation, it cannot be anything better than that. And it just takes a few minutes every day. But if you continue doing it, it helps you.
So you are a startup expert as well, and DTU also has an innovation, DTU IAF, it's Innovation and Incubation Foundation. Basically it helps students who are interested in startups, help them meet entrepreneurs, help them with the guidance and facilitate funding to some extent as well. So you being the startup expert and an investor as well, what message would you like to give to the students who are interested in startups and to the university as a whole in the ways possibly we can do better in this direction?
Sure. Like I mentioned in my talk a couple of years ago, that the era when we were in DTU, those days, there was no talk about startups. We all now know that in America there were already companies like HPE or Intel or AMD. Many companies are founded by people coming from nowhere, and even I know HCL. When I was at DCM, people used to talk about Shiv Nadar, who came from DCM, started HCL.
Okay.
But these stories were not as well known. It was kind of pre-internet era. There were no means of knowing how people did what they did. And of course, many of those people were senior executives, they had some money and come from rich families. So it was kind of assumed that if you have a rich family, you would apply for lands to build an industry, you would give some bribe, you get that, and then license, you give money, and then finally you build a factory, and then factory will develop something. Like that's how the... Now I think as times have changed now, the world has become more than flat, right? And now students have access to information from all over the world. And there are people who have done very well for themselves coming from nowhere. Like you see the guy who started Oyo Rooms, and I mean there are many things, so many Bansal, some Flipkart guys or Zepto guys. I mean there are so many guys now, the Shark Tank on TV. They are creating the kind of knowledge base in our society, in our psyche, that didn't exist before. So this is the best time for any student to do things like this now than ever. I mean, there cannot be a better time than today's time to start a company.
Plus probably when you're young.
And see, when you're young, your ability to take risks is high.
Is higher.
I mean, risk taking is part of the startup journey. And I think, and jobs are plenty. I mean, at least for people who are from places like DTU. So for these students, I think these students are really in the best of their times, and they have folks like myself and others who can provide mentorship as well if these guys so choose to take our help. So I think I would love to help, and in any way which way I can. I think in the talk I said, if you have a good business plan, of course the plan has to stand the scrutiny of investment committee and all that stuff. And I love to invest in some startups. I do, and in US and in India, and I think they should take this up. I mean, not just me, but others as well. I think there are many alumni members of our DTU who have done quite well in their lives. I think recently one of our earlier members, Vinod Dham, even got Padma Bhushan or Padma Shri or something, right? So it's great. I think it's wonderful. So I think, and I'm very happy. I did interact with the professor who heads that IAF, and
Professor Girish.
So I offered him that. I think he's sending some students to a startup fest that I'm organizing in Hyderabad later this month, and I think it'd be great if these kids can come and they will interact with others and learn some new things,
Okay, nice. Any tips you would like to give to the students who want to go for startup?
There will be a lot of naysayers around them. There will be family pressure, not doing it. There will be pressure from society. There will be pressure from their friends, oh, don't do this, this is not going to succeed and all, because we all know the stats, something only 5% startups succeed, but despite all that, I think if they are able to gain that escape velocity, they can overcome all these hurdles that otherwise would come in their way. But having said that, I would also like to caution them that startup is not for faint-hearted.
Okay.
They should prepare themselves for the long haul. And I think there is one stat is that there are 90% or more than that startups fail. Other stat is that for every successful entrepreneur, he may have had one success, but he has many failures.
Yeah.
So
and also in your talk you said that one failure, the key is that from one failure to another failure you move with equal enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's right. That's the definition of success for me.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I would have done 4 startups and perhaps only one really succeeded out of that. But that's what you need,
Yeah.
And you
just need to have faith in your idea and keep working towards it, and one day it will bear fruits.
You will learn enough more from your failures than from your successes. Some people say that, and I believe that.
So, sir, to sum it all up, I would say that especially for our students who want to go for the startup, that one, you should believe in yourself. You should also have an anchor, which some support, like in your case, you said heartfulness, meditation gave you a strength to overcome that or to go through that stressful period, which one of the partners actually could not. So meditation or some spiritual anchor also gives you a lot of strength, which helps you sail through the tough times. So with this, sir, thank you so much for being with us and talking to us. It was a real pleasure. It was an honor interacting with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I'm glad I could be of some assistance to inspire our young generation. I am available anytime for that.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure.
Thank
It
you.
was an honor. Thanks.